Hello and welcome to MGP301, aka the Sheepdog and Pab takeover episode. I'm Sheepdog and this is Pab.
Hello.
And we just bought a web domain, didn't we, Pab?
Yes, we did.
Since our discussion 2 weeks ago, I've been sleuthing around on the internet and found out that when our site was stolen by the porn bots, it looks like it wasn't stolen by just some random porn bot company. It was taken by a company who's basically sucks up domains that have been abandoned in the wilderness and waits for someone like us to go, oh, I kind of needed that domain. And then when we have a look at it, they go, yeah, that'll be $5,000. And they try and catch you out. I looked at it and realized that they'd registered that on the 13th of April last year. And it was said it was due to expire. And I've learned so much about stealing people's web domains now in the past week, because basically 75 days after the date they register it, it's fair game. The site that owned it was basically a domain selling website. And they were saying, oh, if you sign up to a company like dropcatch.com, you can catch dropped websites. I had a look. They own that website. They're the ones hoovering them up and then trying to sell them back to people.
Wow.
And I emailed them saying, when's this going to be out? Because if I can get it for less than $10, I'll have it. But anything more than that, good luck selling it. Who's going to want it? And the bloke just said, oh, I'm not really in control of it. It's all automated. It'll figure out a price. And 75 days in, it will tell you. And I looked this morning and it was on auction for $50. And I just laughed and thought, well, that's the end of that. I forgot to tell you because obviously you said to me tonight, what are we doing with this website then? Let's have a look. So I went and had a look and the auction had already finished. MatureGamerPodcast.com was no longer for sale. The market was gone. I assumed that meant someone had snapped it up. We had a new rival on the cards, but
yeah.
It just meant that they didn't own it anymore. I guess there's a 9-hour limit on how long they're allowed to hold it before it becomes dead. And when we didn't blink, they dropped it into the sea and we've hoovered it up for £9.50. So I kept with less than my £10 rule. That is literally my limit. If it was £10 and a penny, I'd have said, let's just leave it. So I'm happy. And because I'm an idiot who invested 150 quid in web hosting a year ago, and I'm paying for that now forever because a man's heating company and another man's car park rely heavily on me doing that at my own personal loss. I thought, why the hell not host it on there? And now I can have an email address with Sheepdog in it again.
Yeah.
So that's it. Now companies will start taking us seriously and giving us reviews again, hopefully.
Yes, they're all going to come flocking back to MGP.
Maybe not after this episode.
Oh yeah, why is that then?
Well, even without the help of a Sheepdog email address, I got an email from Ubisoft randomly. I'm not even sure how they got my email, saying review copies of The Crew 2 are coming out this week. Let me know if you need one.
Wow.
And I thought, why not? I'll fill in the form. I'll ask for it. I've got no beef with The Crew. It's just a racer, isn't it? You know, it's kind of a gadabout racing game. I was quite excited to get it. And I mean, I said to my wife tonight, I was like, I'm waiting for a review copy to come of this game. It looks quite good. She pointed out it's been sat on the table next to me for 2 days. So
really,
yeah, I feel a bit stupid because I should have had it by now. So I fired it up. It took forever to load, which is mad.
These games do these days. Big these are. You have to like download all the patches and then install the game. Is it on the Xbox?
Yeah, so fair enough, you have to get the patches, but the install was stupid. And
Xbox are notoriously like that. They're just like very casual about, we'll just slowly shuffle it onto the hard drive. Don't worry, take your time.
I didn't have time to go and record a vlog and then just sit around chatting to my son, had a drink, had something to eat, come back. I was like, I was finally installed, and then it said the game's always online. I don't really get why. It's multiplayer, but I don't get particularly why it needed to be always online for the rest of the game. But it took me forever to get into my Ubisoft account, which oddly has the nickname something like guest_1379 whatever. I was like, why didn't I set that as RB6K? Yeah, like what? It still calls me RB6K in the game because that's what I'm logged into the Xbox as.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I set it up with another demo years ago and didn't have the chance to name it. I don't know, but I'll look at getting that changed, I suppose. But once I got it up and running, this game, it looks amazing. It really, really looks pretty. The upsides to it are that it looks pretty. It's got some range to it. You can race with, it starts with car, boat, and aeroplane, but it's got options for bikes, buggies.
Yes.
I'm trying to think what else. Helicopters.
Hovercraft. You got one of them there?
It's literally everything. I was joking with my wife because in the picture I had all these vehicles and it had the Statue of Liberty, and I was like, "Can you race with the Statue of Liberty?" I know it'd be pretty slow, but everything else in the picture you could race with. I'm trying to think what they're called. I mean, the cars that go off road. I did a lot of off road,
like a rally car.
Yeah, right. I couldn't think of the word. So there was like mud buggies, there were rally cars, there were pickup trucks. So there were, it's got a lot of range to it, and it's one of those, pick what track you want to go down, and kind of the sky's the limit. It reminds me heavily of like the after game or the side games to GTA 5, because you can, in that obviously you can just jog around, you can drive around the city, you can race, you can get out into the sea. I think on the downside of that, it reminds me of GTA 5, all the side bits. So what's the point of it? It's kind of like, okay, they've taken the bits that are like a footnote in GTA 5 and they've made it their game. And so I don't really see why, unless you're, I suppose, meeting up with 10 friends and trying to just have epic races in every different variant going, the game itself is a little bit basic. It's not Forza level driving a car. It's as bad in the air as GTA 5 was, so the plane was really hard. I mean, I crashed into a building 3 or 4 times, and then I thought, it's really insensitive to have a plane flying around in New York hitting into buildings. Like, did they not think this through? The boats were the only one I could actually really... I mean, I'm new to the game, I get that. I haven't done a racing game in a little while. I'm not a racing game aficionado, but I have always played the greats over the years. Forza's where I basically stopped because they all seemed to be getting to the point where they were so polished it wasn't any different. But like, I played Gran Turismo all the time growing up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, all the motorbike races and stuff like that on the Mega Drive, and just I definitely can do them, but the handling on this was atrocious. It was like driving just a big brick.
Well, it's very much an arcade game, so you want to put it into sort of category of a Burnout or an Need for Speed game more than your Forza or whatever you like that. I mean, maybe your Forza Horizon, but even your Forza Horizon's much more, probably more. I mean, handles better. I mean, I don't know.
Well, Need for Speed handled all right. This just seemed.
Yeah. Compared it to GTA like races, and you know what I mean. It had me ringing the warning bells. I was thinking surely it handles better than GTA driving and flying and stuff.
Not really. I mean, I'm trying to think. I would say the planes handled easier in GTA because you could at least go left and right on it. I just found the missions hard. But
see, the thing is with GTA is you just kind of become accustomed to it, and you kind of adapt to it because you play that much of it, sort of thing, in the in the game or what have you. And the rest of it kind of takes over, and it excuses the fact that the driving and the flying and stuff isn't amazing, but it's passable.
You're not judging that on the fact you've crashed into a tree. But the starter races I've done, they say like, so the premise of this game is really, it's a bit cringy and I think this is just me being older. I find it cringy, but you're basically a novice racer who's told, we're going to make millions, we're going to become famous, and how we're going to do that is you're going to do these races and you're going to gain followers on social media. And every race you do, you gain more. And you can't do a race unless you've got 5,000 followers on this kind of rip-off of Twitter. And the idea is to reach a point where you've got millions of followers and you're the most followed person, and you'll be able to do any race you want then. And so already I'm thinking, well, I don't really care. Like, I don't really want 1 million followers, like, for being it's a very weird concept.
I mean, I think... I might be mistaken, but I'm fairly certain that's what Forza Horizon did.
Really? Well, that's also what South Park do, though. South Park make a joke of the fact want to gain followers and become the most followed person in South Park.
Yeah.
They laugh at the concept, and that's their own game. The same people, not same people, but the same overheading company make it. So it is just odd because you start a race and you've got no followers, and I think if you're good at the game, you're supposed to win it, and you'll be on like 2,000 followers, and everyone's cheering because you've come out of nowhere and won the race.
Yeah.
I smashed straight into a wall, reversed, had to keep. I mean, I'm glad it's got this feature. If you tap LB and RB, it puts you back in the race rather than you trying to fumble around. I'm guessing it must give you a time penalty, but it just put me back and I could catch up. But I still finished dead last because the streets were so like curve, but at right angles. There was no like drift around the corner.
Really?
So that also raised alarm bells because it seemed really oddly designed. But then when I started doing the off-road races that it moved me on to next, I guess because I didn't have 10,000 followers to go and do a proper race on like a street, which was going to be easier perhaps. Or maybe it's just that I picked dirt ones. But anyway, I picked the dirt ones, and again, starting on them, you get like a free Red Bull sponsored racer buggy that you can go and race with. Yeah. And they're off-road races. I'm not expecting them to have put out a full dirt track for me to follow on. But what I found really weird was it was just dumping trees all over the place and cactuses and immovable objects. And you couldn't see them quick enough. If you were driving at like moderate speed, because you're in it'd say to you to win this race, you need to beat the record, and the record would be 1:30. And if you go over that, you just get a red X and you have to do it again.
Right. Okay.
So you've got the ghost car next to you and you're thinking, well, I'm going as fast as this buggy will allow. And I've got my finger hammering the nitro button, but it's so focused on the car, you can't see the trees coming up in front of you. So I was smashing into stuff, and I'm trying to change the view and move it so I can either get inside and see what's coming or just move far enough back that I can be planning ahead. But I'm looking at the back of a car and hitting bushes and trees, and like it's not exactly behind it. Like I can see them within reason, but when it's just odd. There was the next race I did, I ended up getting that after 3 or 4 attempts. So I don't want the game to be easy, but I didn't want it to take 4 attempts to do the first race.
No, I know what you mean.
I went and I did a Mercedes race, and that was in a woods, so it's even worse.
Nice.
To the point where it's going like drive towards this waypoint that's north, and I'm heading towards it, and then I suddenly hit a barrier, and it says I have to go left down this main road, and then I saw a gap in the barrier, so I turned right. And then I went again north towards the checkpoint, hit another barrier, thought, right, I'll go left, I'll drive along. When I turned right this time, I ended up in the sea. And I thought, I could see the blooming ghost car driving off in the distance. He's not ending up in water. But there was no indication of how I was supposed to get there. It was just telling me, you want to, your waypoint's north, figure out how to get to it before this ghost car does it. And I'm thinking, well, the ghost car knows the way. It's programmed with the way. I mean, you notice that when you're following the waypoints on the boat races, for example, it would say to me, the waypoint's over here. Before I've even read the waypoint and moved that direction, all the other boats are already ahead of me going that way because they're programmed to. So it's kind of, it's unrealistic. It's not like we're all getting the information at the same time and moving. They're just programmed to follow their little circuit. So I guess that's a coding design sort of flaw. But the only way you can know that is if you do the race once, fail it, and then do it again. And I'm kind of used to, I either sit down and do it and win it, or I don't know, I just don't bother. I usually get done 20 races in before I start the odd replay, and by that point I'm hooked. But this just seemed to be, you're going to have to fail a lot. But yeah.
So yeah, this game confuses me. I don't quite know what it is, because I was under the impression that it was like a game where you've just got to get from point A to point B. It doesn't matter how you get there. Similar, maybe to a Forza Horizon, where
it does like that, but it only tends to give you left or right.
Right. Okay. So
I did leap 30 seconds ahead of one ghost car as I flew off a cliff. But that's another weird thing about this game. 3 times I've done it where one car went flying over the edge of a bridge and it was just a sheer straight drop down, and then it carried on driving. My boat went over the edge of I don't even know how to explain this. It was like Niagara Falls or something, but obviously whatever the equivalent is in New York, I guess. But again, the boat just lands and carries on, and it was the Mercedes pickup truck that I went up a mountain. And because I was meant to go right, but there was no indication that I was supposed to do that. I carried on going forward, and because I flew so far over this mountain, when I landed, it said I was like 35 seconds ahead of the ghost car. When it was next to me, when I went over the edge, I'd managed to cut that far off. But that's the kind of thing you'd expect from Mario Kart, not a real world race game where some weird company is saying to you, we're going to film your race from every angle using drones, and then we're going to make you famous on Twitter. It uses the same dialogue that Ubisoft use in their press conferences.
Right, yeah.
So it's like, I want to see some badassery. And I'm thinking,
cringy.
Talks like that. Yeah, it was a lot of cringy talk. It feels like, it's like I said before, it feels like they think they know what cool is and they try and make cool stuff, but they don't know what cool is. And I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast before, but I work with a company in security that are a bit like that. They do what they think Americans find cool, but I think they haven't seen an American in about 30 years. So all they're like really old fashioned comedy. And it's just not cool. It's just cringy. And so, yeah, I skip all of their FMVs now in the crew because they're just a little bit cringy. I think it's one of those, I think half of our gamer followers, people listening, at least half of them would like this and probably would have already got it on their radar and would want to get it. I think I think people like me and Kev and Anna wouldn't play. I don't think you would, but I think you'd probably give it more of a crack than maybe we would.
I mean, the idea, the premise sounds really cool because it's an open. It's like based on what I remember of the first one, it was just like a huge like map of the US. I don't know if it's still the US, and you can just go. You just start one and just go to the other if you wanted to, and do what you want. Now that seems like a cool premise, but what I remember of the first one was it kind of felt like Assassin's Creed, where you had to go to these towers to unlock parts of the map. I don't know if that's still the same thing. I don't think it is.
You are still going to stuff. They're only towers after you've done a race there, but
right.
The big map just has a boat on it, and you click it, and it goes to a boat race.
Right.
I can drive around and take pictures. But I was kind of like, do I really want to spend time just driving around virtual America taking pictures? I could drive around Deeping and take pictures if that's, do you know what I mean? If that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I guess maybe if I had some mates playing on it, we could go and gad about driving into some place or whatever. But I don't really, I mean, I'll have to try it. I guess I didn't realize I could go that far around. But yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how much it is. I know it's definitely not 1-to-1. But
but if I could go to where I'm staying in holiday and just see it all in like virtual world and drive around, that'd be amazing. But I doubt it too. You know, the weird thing is the technology's not that impossible to do that. I was driving home from work the other day behind an Apple Maps vehicle. I didn't know what it was. I kept trying to get to the side of it so I could read what it said. So I'm hoping the next time I look on there, there'll be me just every time I click along, I'll be swerving left and right because I'm trying to get around to see what's behind this car. It's blocking the road, and I just thought, I'm like, it doesn't look like a Google car. What the hell is it? And then we got to a roundabout, and I saw it say Apple Maps as it went back round. I think he went back round and reshot the road because I was probably ruining it. I'm hoping I made it into it. If I do, I'll put the link up on Twitter. But the fact that they can do that makes me think Ubisoft could just pay Google for the map they built and combine it with the Apple one and smash it into a game. But that'd probably take a lot of disk space. I'd be moaning about the install then. It's
the textures and stuff and texturing it and putting it, like mapping it into a game. It's one thing taking photo like realistic shots of it, but then it's something of like rendering it into a game engine. Yeah. So is the fun to be added there, though, from what you played?
Yeah, definitely. Like, there was a lot of options to do stunts and flips and, you know, have a laugh. I think the thing is, what kind of got me was, again, going to GTA 5, and I feel bad that I keep comparing it to it, but when we played that and we were trying to have a race around and whatnot, at the same time, someone was trying to blow the wheels off my car with a rocket launcher, and I was trying to see how broken I could get a car before it stopped working.
Yeah.
You can't do that in this. I mean, I crashed clear into a building, and all it did was made me restart the plane. And I don't think there's any kind of option for me to smash the car up, which feels
no.
like a missed point because that's quite fun.
I think they don't like to annoy the people whose cars that they put into this game. So by saying, we're going to smash your Mercedes-Benz up.
It's weird though,
Stuff
isn't
like
it?
that.
Because I don't see how they'd be offended by that.
Well, they don't like to show their own vehicles smashed into little, they don't like to show them crumpled up into a little bowl.
The ironic thing there is if they're aiming for some sort of true to life, this is what our vehicles handle like, then for the love of God, don't buy a Mercedes X pickup truck because they handle like bricks. And I don't think for a second that that's true. I imagine they probably handle like a dream. And so they're kind of it both ways. If they want it to be badly programmed in that respect, although again, I don't know whether some of that was because it's just an early level, and if they made all the cars dream, I would never have any aspirational goals. Whether there's something I can upgrade the car with later on, or there are upgrades for the vehicles, so it could be down to those things. But they've not given that impression. They've just given the impression of this is how cars handle. Because I've done 5 car races, I'd say. I mainly stuck to boats because I just found them easier. They glide obviously along the water, and just there wasn't any trees in the water, so it was a bit of a free for all. Whereas the cars just seemed to, if I wasn't hitting trees, I was hitting completely rock hard barriers that wouldn't be rock hard in real life. It would just be like a plastic fence, and suddenly I'd smash into it, and that'd be that. Whereas I'd have driven through a lamppost and just wet. But no, I mean, I will give it more goes. I'm hoping someone listening will say, "Oh, I've got this. Why don't you nip on it and we'll play it over the week or something?" But
yeah,
I mean, if you were saying to me, "Should I buy it to play with you?" I would probably say, "Don't do it unless you really want to." Like you personally, I'm thinking if someone listening has already got it and wants to have a crack, maybe I'll have changed my mind by next week. But I'm just a little bit like, oh, is that really what it? I mean, looking around online briefly, because I thought to myself, I'd always give my opinion honestly, but if I'm completely the opposite of the rest of the world, I'd have had to have calculated that a lot, and it doesn't seem to have got a review from anywhere, really.
No.
So hopefully that's not standing us out too much from the crowd. But yeah, it's a brand new game on release day, and I've played it, so that's surely a bonus in itself.
Oh yeah, definitely Sheepdog. What have I played? What shall I throw your way? God of War. We'll do that for a bit, shall we?
Go for it. You completed it.
I finished it this last weekend. It's pretty damned amazing, Sheepdog. For me, it probably is a better game than Detroit.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. I've told there's a guy who I work with who's playing that, and I've told him to play Detroit next. Now I feel like I shouldn't have positioned them together.
It's a very different kind of game, Sheepdog, in the sense of Detroit is very much a story-based game where you are engrossed in the story sort of thing, like you are playing. There's not a huge amounts of gameplay per se.
Yeah.
It's all about the story. Whereas there is definitely a story there, and it's a very good story in God of War. But you played a game. You played a game with the mechanics that are there for you, and it's very much a game where you are hitting enemies with weapons, instead of just experiencing it sort of thing. Because you kind of just experience Detroit, don't you, with minor, like, control
it's
options.
Like a story, isn't it?
It's like an interactive story. It's more of an interactive story than it is like a full-on proper like game where you are running around as a person, beating things up and controlling things and what have you. But yeah, that game is so good, and I'm curious now because I think Anna completed it while we were at the weekend of the London Comic Con, and she said something about it. And I kind of need to know what she was all like, oh my God, about, because I didn't quite get that as much.
There's no like twist or anything.
Well, there kind of is. There definitely is, but there's nothing like that. I was like thinking, when she said this is like a big oh my God kind of moment. I was like, oh, I want to know what it is now, and I was expecting it, and I don't know if I overhyped myself for what it was. Which probably is the
I hate
case.
that. It's probably the worst, though, isn't it? If someone says to you, "I can't believe how such and such ended," you do. With films, I do that. I spend the whole film trying to figure out, and it ruins me. So maybe that's what you did.
I mean, yeah, probably is that. Because obviously, while I'm playing this rest of this game, because I still had quite a bit to go from when I completed it, I probably worked trying to work it out in my head what the possibilities are, and then probably come to more fantastical.
Yeah. Did you guess what it was though?
No. I don't think. No, I didn't. No. I mean, to be fair, it kind of just came upon me quite abruptly. The game ended just kind of abruptly. I was kind of expecting, because the game sets out there's all these realms and what have you. You go to this portal room and there's all these realms you go to, and there's Asgard and these other different realms. You don't go to them.
Maybe you will in future games.
Well, that's what it probably does. But I was thinking, well, I'm nowhere near the end, and I've got 3 more realms to go through yet before I even get to the end. And it just kind of went, oh, I'm done. Oh, right, okay then.
Sometimes they don't. I feel like games don't think it through like that. I've had that before. I've said to friends, "Oh, I'm about a third of the way through," and they go, "No, you're at the end." And you're like, "Wait, what? How?"
I mean, it goes to say how well you've enjoyed the game, and it's just flown by, and you just getting on with it, and you want more.
But you definitely don't want to feel like you've lost out on.
Well, I haven't because I expect that sequel to this now will go to them sort of places. In fact, I know it will go to them sort of places. But yeah, this game is superb. It's so good. And like you say, there's parts in it I'm not going to spoil it, but there are parts in it. There's a part in it 2/3 of the way through where it's just something okay, it's just kicked it up a notch. We're going again. And yeah, you grow to love the little annoying kid that starts off like a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
But by the end of it, you kind of rooting for him. So yeah, like I say, I've finished 2 games on PlayStation now this year. And they've both been excellent. So
really, I pegged you as more regular on PlayStation.
No, this is the thing, you see, I don't play most of the time. My the games that come out and everything will either be on the PC because my friends are on the PC. Most of my friends are on the PC, or it'll be on the Xbox because it's a single player game, and the Xbox is the most powerful console around. So I go for that, and I go for the fact that if it's a single player game, I will play it on there. So I pretty much play the exclusives solely on the PS4.
That's mad. I'm one PS4 game away from breaking PS4 over the year, and it's July. I might have to get a PS4 game.
Yeah, well, not a bad one.
Well, that's it. My friend at work was talking about it. I'm tempted to say to him, bring it in, and I was going to say I'll lend him Detroit, but it's a digital version I've got, so I can't do that.
Nope.
I have to figure something out. But no, he raves about it, and Nana raves awesome, so it's got to be worth a punt. I mean...
Yeah, it's a slow start. It is a slow start, and you'll probably get 5 or 6 hours in and going, I'm not sure about this. You've got to persevere. Because it's not horrendous, but it's just different to any other God of War game. And
that's probably good for me, though. I think I've only played, I want to say 2 and 3 maybe, and not all the way through. Not because I thought they were bad. I think I was just playing 2 when something else came out that was I was catching up on 2 and something massive came out, and then on 3 it was a similar sort of thing. I remember they were both on. Did they do a collection with 2 and 3 on it?
No, I know the HD'd 3.
I'm trying to think. It might be 1 and 2 even. I might even not be thinking of the right game. I'm
1
sure
and 2 might have come out. 1 and 2 might have come out on PS3.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Maybe.
Because I think I had that when I sold my PS3. It was one of the collections that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I didn't borrow it off Anna now, and because I'm not admitting I sold it. If that's the case, I did. All I remember is having it set. I'm pretty sure I owned it though, but she can fight me if she thinks I flogged the game. Because I did. She keeps telling me I flogged one of her other games, and I definitely didn't. And that's one of them. I just can't live it down. I'm waiting for her to move her sofa one day and find it because she's convinced I did, and I really didn't. If she doesn't find it somewhere, I'll find it somewhere. day just in a box and be like, oh damn. But yeah, anyway, speaking of Detroit a minute ago, I've not played it this week. I've been watching my wife play it last week and a little bit this week because she obviously, I thought I could start it again or I could convince her to play it. She thought it looked awesome, so I got her to do it. She did make the mistake I made, not in the same way. She had the same problem with the start of her game, from a different route, in that she lost one of the characters, but then because her decision didn't warrant that happening, it was more the clunkiness of the battles in the game. I went and did it for her, and then we moved on from there.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's fine.
So her story has been awesome. I've loved following my wife's story through. It's very similar to mine because we're both playing it nicely.
Yeah.
But there's just the odd difference. One thing I find really bizarre is the game doesn't feel any longer. So she's getting it's Kara, isn't it, the girl?
Yes.
Getting all the Kara missions, but the game doesn't feel any longer than when I played. I don't know why. I don't know, just because I know how to do the stuff that she's doing, sorry. Like, so I can say to my wife, "Oh, turn left, I'll go there." But I think we're probably one night away from, if we sat and played it tomorrow, she'd complete it. I'm really intrigued to see her story. She made one of the same, not mistakes I made. She missed one of the bits I missed, and that's going to affect the ending of one of her stories, I think. But it might not, because she's still got lots of decisions to make. But she's done a lot of the big early missions. She went a bit further on some of them than I really pulled them off better than I did. So I think that's just more she made bold choices, whereas I was a bit like, oh my God, I can't lose another character. It's been fascinating watching that from another point of view. I don't know whether I could watch it again. Do you know what I mean? Like a third time.
No, I mean, once you've seen it kind of thing. But you can, what I've learned since then is that you can just you can go and play the chapters again, just on the chapter select screen and just play them and get the different outcomes. You don't have to play the entire game to get to see the other branches of the story.
There was there's a blue button in the garden that Connor goes to, and I did not know what it was, and I ended up looking it up and following that kind of chain of why that's relevant in another route you can take was a little bit mind blowing, because it completely wasn't relevant for me, and I guess we still need to do that spoiler episode if we ever.
Yeah, I think we're looking to do it whenever Kev's back.
Yeah,
it should be next week. We will look to do it then.
Yeah.
So,
the other game I've been playing this week is, I don't know whether you probably have heard of it, but it's sweeping kids across the country at the moment. Roblox.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
It looks just as, it's like Minecraft, but the Minecraft characters in like more polished looking worlds. My son's obsessed. And the reason I thought it was worth talking about was when he started out, I thought, oh no, it looks like he's playing some sort of fighting, going around like Hunger Games in people. And when I looked at it, he wasn't at all. They were playing hide and seek, and I don't know what you call it up north, but when I was a kid, they called it ad, and they call it TIG here. They're playing tag, TIG, ad, whatever it's called. And I thought more games should be like that. They should, instead of Call of Duty, they should be the hide and seek championships. That'd be a great game. So I was trying to get him to eat his dinner, and he was like, but I'm not it, and I'm hiding, and I don't want to lose. So I said, well, you go eat your dinner, and I'll sit here and I'll hide. And I took him off underneath a giant table and hid round the table leg, and it was telling you how far away the person who's it was. And if they got near you, like the number would be like 500. It said 500, I don't know, clicks away or whatever. And it suddenly started shooting down, and I'm thinking, oh my God, they're coming closer. And it's got down to like 80 and 50 and 40. And I'm like, oh no, they're on the other side of this wall. And I'm thinking, do I run? Does it like pull me out of the game the second he sees me? Does he have to actually touch my character for me to be out?
Right.
If I leg it now, am I going to survive? And before I found out, it suddenly went 41, 42, 45, 50, 80. He went in the other direction. I'm guessing he must have seen somebody else.
Yeah.
But when my son come back from dinner, I'd played about 6 rounds, and I was just like, this is amazing. This is so fun, like so intense. And then like he was it on his go, and he was trying to go around catching all the people, and there's like 15 people in the server with him. And I think he managed to find maybe 6 or 7, but the others had all hid. I guess if you find everyone, you get points, and then it's all kind of on the league table. But I thought to myself, I don't think the listeners and our community would want to play that on an iPad. But if they had that on the Xbox with a bit of, if that was a Fortnite mode.
So that's what you were playing it on an iPad?
I was playing it on my wife's Kindle, yeah.
Wow. Okay. I thought you played it on the console.
Oh, no. It's, that's another thing. It's like you're holding your thumbs and moving around. I mean, it's got loads of stuff to that game. I don't there's lots of fan-made levels that are a bit sort of cheesy.
Yeah, there's a PUBG mode in it.
Is there really?
Yeah, there's a PUBG mod for that game where you all you little Minecraft people jump out and parachute down onto this big map, and you run around and you got to shoot them. Yeah.
I wonder if he's played that, because I know he was running around one getting mad. When they're playing TIG, it's quite funny because if you get caught, then you follow the person around while they play it, and I thought it was adorable because that is like PUBG and all of that. When you get killed in that, but it's completely diffused the killing. You don't kill in it.
Yeah,
you just TIG each other.
That's basically what it is, isn't it? It's basically like a kiddified PUBG kind of mode, isn't it? Like a battle royale mode.
I would love a proper graphics up, polished PUBG/Fortnite where that was the aim. I have to get close enough to give you a slap, and then that's it. You're out, or you're it, and I leg it. But no, instead I've got to try and put a bullet in people who are bunny hopping all over the shop. It's silly, give us TIG. Although I don't know what to call it. I always called it ad, which I think was the Essex way of saying had. And you had someone by tapping them. But my parents always called it ad, yeah. But
it's TIG up here.
Yeah, well, it's TIG here apparently, so maybe we've become more Kevin. But my kids would call it TIG, and it grates me, to be honest. My kids say bath and grass and stuff like that. And
like the proper way.
Yeah, and I just feel a little bit like it's weird when I'm talking to them and I respond in my way, and then sometimes they respond back to me as if they think I'm correcting them. But they'll say it my way in the next sentence, and it's not me doing that. It's just that I hear it the way they say it. I can't bring myself to start talking like that. But yeah, I think more games should have a TIG mode because that was very, very cool.
Okay, superb, Sheepdog. Well, kind of segueing from that, I've been playing more Fortnite.
I noticed. You need to
invite Fortnite on the Switch. I've got Fortnite on the Switch.
Oh yes. Well, you can play with that on Xbox with us.
Yes, I can play cross. Well, I've just been playing on my own, just getting on with things, trying to do the challenges and on the battle pass type stuff. And since I got my Switch back, so I did get my Switch back. I don't know if I've said that on the podcast. I got it back and it was all working fine. All my saves were there. It's all good. So Fortnite was out. It was there over E3 because my Switch was away over E3. So I got it back at the end of the E3 week, and I started playing Fortnite. And I very quickly, it's probably in the space of just over a week now, I've got 4 victories.
Every time I go on Twitter, you seem to have had a victory.
It's insane. I don't understand it. So the game, I'm not sure whether or not it's the mobile version that's on the Switch, or because it is very low fidelity graphic wise. It's not like crystal clear, pristine. It's very jaggy edges and stuff like that. But playing with solely just Switch people, you can't snipe from miles and miles away because it doesn't render that far.
Well, that's a good thing, I suppose.
It's a good thing for me, yeah. Obviously, we play on the PC, and building is another level on the PC. I've not really found myself having to build that much. I just kind of like sneak around everywhere and just kind of just get on with it. And most of the time, I'm just trying to get a challenge done. So I'm trying to do like one of the challenges, which is like such as get 7 chests in a round is one of them, which I was trying to get, and I think I won on. Or kill people in a certain area. So I'd have to land in a certain town where people were and kill 3 people, whoever it was. And all I'm trying to do is just complete a challenge. If I get further than wherever I need to be, then great. And I just found myself just pretty much just going to these places and just winning. And like I say, it's just unreal. It's unreal. I think It is definitely easier on the Switch because it's a I don't know if it's a younger audience playing the Switch version, but it's
you're owning them all.
Definitely, I'm happy to play the Switch version because you can just.
You're spoilt it now, though. Everyone else listening will be jumping on, and then suddenly
that's fine. I'll beat them as well because by the time they get on, I'll improve my levels. No,
I really want a Switch, and now I know I can get that on it as well. And
to be fair, the Xbox version, I played the Xbox version, and my first game of the Xbox version, when I played that, I came second. I want to say I played one game.
You say that, but my 9 third in her first game, and that's literally probably her 5th game ever because she doesn't game ever on anything.
It's a strange game where you can come up, if you want, you can get away with not seeing anyone like us. We've seen Anna do on the streams of Kev's streams, where you can get away with not seeing anyone, just hide and just sort of get to second place by hiding and staying out of the way of people.
It's mad, isn't it? Was it you or someone else that got a win without actually seeing the other person? They killed themselves.
I did get. I mean, I've had that a few times where the last victory I had, which was last weekend, I think, I've not played it again since, has been where I shot the floor. They were building a massive platform above me to get into the circle. There's like a tiny circle at the last bit. So I was underneath them and I saw them building it. So I went, right, okay. So I just shot the bottom of it and he just fell down.
Right, okay.
So I didn't get the kill for it, which was kind of a little bit annoyed because I thought, well, that was because of me. But they died due to falling damage, and I think I've got one where they've died outside the circle.
Is it an achievement to die without killing anyone, though? Do you get anything for it?
I mean, I've not had that. I've not had where I've had 0 kills, but I've actually won where I've not killed the last person. I've not actually had 0 kills, because it's hard enough when you get to, say, the last 10. The circle's constricted enough to be where 10 people in the circle you will see. You will have to start dealing damage to these people, because it's really difficult. So
I always watch to see what happens to the person that kills me, just to see whether I'm like...
Yes, you're up against greatness.
Yeah, I got killed by the best person there, so I can live with that. It's an ego thing for sure, but...
I mean, a lot of the time for me, it's about getting behind people. I find myself getting in, running into the circle I don't know if it's relatively late on, or I just spot people running across the field, and I'm like, right, you're mine. You don't see me coming, I sneak up behind you and just gun you down. That's a lot of my kills like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a damn sight easier than PUBG, because I've been playing that this week as well. I'm not any better at PUBG. I've purchased a new mouse. I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter. I bought a new mouse. I did.
I can't remember whether I mocked you on Twitter, but
no, I don't think you did, but somebody else did.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a fancy mouse as a review a long time ago, and it was great for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then suddenly I've never had a mouse just become such a burden. And I've changed the batteries before anyone thinks that's just me being simpleton. I don't know whether it just got something in it or got knocked or what, but my word, it became a piece of annoyance. And now I see these fancy, expensive mice, and I think that'll be the bane of your life one day. I might be wrong. It might even be that,
I think, if I remember rightly, it's got something like 32 buttons on this, or something insane.
Why?
I don't know. It's cool, right? Because I literally went on the website and downloaded a PUBG profile for it straight away. So now I've got buttons for doing my maps. I've got like buttons that where the top of my fingers go rest, which you'll do my reload, and then one that I just reached up or down for to crouch and lie down, and then the buttons that I put my top of my fingers on, I can reach right back and use them as triggers, so they become buttons that trigger backwards. So there's down presses and back presses on them. So
you can shoot behind you mean?
No, it's got a back press, so it recognises there's another. I can use another. It's another function sort of thing. So I can use. So my press down on my left finger is the reload button. But if I pull that button backwards instead of pushing it down, it throws a grenade. It's insane. There is that many buttons on it. Well, yes, but it's a very distinct action you've got to do to throw the grenade. You've got to pull it back rather than pushing it down. I've got tilt on it, so I can literally tilt it left, right, forward, and backwards to do things. So I've got it set so I can just tilt the mouse slightly left, and it'll lean left on lean right in PUBG. Because I didn't primarily get it for that, but that game has a lot of functions in it, which I'm forever looking down on a keyboard going, what button do I want? And then by the time I've done it, I'm dead. So I've got a lot of things added to the mouse now. No, I know it was expensive, but it would have been a lot more expensive if I paid. It cost me about £100.
That's, like, I can't believe I'm saying these words, but that's not too bad.
Well,
like, it is a lot.
The mouse was originally £200 when it came out.
So to say, these can be even more.
Oh yeah, it's like it's a huge like thing. This mouse, it's amazing, and I managed to I got it off Amazon. I got an email from them saying, "Oh, we're doing this lightning deal on this mouse. Do you want it?" And I went, "Yeah, all right, £140." Result, I got it the day after, and it said, and I was showing someone on Amazon the mouse that I just bought, and it was 109 or something like that. And I went, whoa, hang on a minute. I thought this was a lightning deal. What's going on here? So I rang him up and said, what's going on here then? And said, what? I want to buy this. I want this mouse, but I want it at that price. Said, so let's cut the middleman out here. Let's save the rigmarole of me boxing this back up, sending it back to you, and then me buying it again and you sending it back to me. Can we just refund the difference? And the guy went,
go with that?
Well, the guy went, we can't really do that. He said, but I see what you mean. He said, so what I'm going to do is I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm going to refund. So he refunded me something else off of my Amazon list that I've already one of my previous purchases to the value of £30.
That's pretty cool.
He was like, he said I shouldn't do this sort of thing. It's not something we do. We don't price match. I was like, well, yeah, but you see my predicament here of I'm either going to send this back to you and get it back tomorrow.
Nearly a day's wages for a lot of people.
I was like, £30. And so I was like, so he refunded me for my motion controllers for my PSVR or something like that. So I got a refund through from that. So I got £30 back. So I've saved money on it already. So it is an expensive mouse, but it's cool. And I'm a sucker for cool gadgets. I really am. And
you got to enter some competition now and win $5,000 so you can
that's the thing. Someone said that to me. Someone, does it make you better? Does it get you all them wins? And I said, I'm a winner just for participating. It's the only excuse for not being any good. Speaking of VR stuff, I went back to VR over the weekend of E3.
Did you see any of the World Cup in it?
Yes. I think we talked about it, didn't we? Did we talk about it?
Yeah, you watched... that was
the opening week of the World Cup when they had the VR in it. And I've only watched it once because it's not like amazing quality. It's really like kind of... you can see what's going on, but it's not. It's very much SD quality picture. And with
it'd be great when it's fixed up to modern standards.
Oh yeah, it's when you got like if they probably had that in like the Vive or the Oculus, it'd be a much better picture. But the quality of the actual lenses and stuff in the actual VR headset, the PSVR, that makes it like it is. I mean, with BBC iPlayer having 4K streaming on it, I was like, well, I'm not going to watch it in this sort of thing, hot and sweaty, watching football in this, or I can just watch it in 4K streaming on iPlayer. I'll just do that.
I can't find the option on iPlayer for 4K streaming. I keep looking.
It was on the PlayStation, to be fair. It was on the PS4 Pro. I don't know if it's just an option.
I was looking on my TV one.
So it might not have been on the I didn't see it on the TV one. I did it through the PlayStation because it came up through there. But I've been playing. I finished another game actually. I finished Batman Arkham VR, which is really kind of cool. It's a gimmicky game where you know the Arkham games. They're not really. They're all very much like a fighting type of game, aren't they? There's none of that stuff in it. It's very much
just like a walkthrough Arkham.
No, it doesn't. You don't really walk. You kind of just. It's very much. You kind of teleport. You can like sort of batarang yourself around, not like like a grappling hook sort of thing of what your way around is like rooms, and you become like Batman who investigate in investigation mode. So you're in detective mode, looking, trying to figure out how these things have done. So you're doing like how Arkham Knight and the other Arkham games, you'd have like you'd put like the detective mode on and you'd rewind time and trying to figure out like, oh, where's that piece of evidence gone?
Like Detroit does as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very much so. So you're in VR as Batman, watching these this detective mode sort of evidence go around and whatever. You're trying to like manipulate around the environment, trying to like spot these certain different things that are happening in this sequence of events, and you're trying to help. There's section with Robin in it and Nightwing, and there's Penguin in it and Joker and all these other characters. It's just really, it's a cool thing. It cost me like $7.99, I think it was, and it's probably like an hour's worth of experience, maybe an hour, maybe a bit more. And there's other things to do. You complete the game and there's Riddler trophies to go and find and different Riddler things to do. I was like, I'm not doing them. I'm not doing Riddler-based stuff. It's already a pain in the ass in the other games. I'm not doing it in VR. Because, I mean, realistically, that was the longest I've spent in VR, like probably an hour or so, just a solid hour at least, just sat in VR, well, what even sat, I was stood up. Yeah, well, I
think you're very lucky though, because that would make me so violently ill.
Like I say, I wouldn't. It's not. I don't think you'd be too bad. To be fair, it's not that bad. It's not like as if you're getting thrown around or anything. You're just literally looking around environments.
My brain's ridiculous though. Honestly, if I moved left and it didn't move the same speed as my head, that'd be that. Job done. Dead.
Well, like I say, you have to have a go of it sometimes, Sheepdog, and see how you get on with it, because it is truly an amazing thing. I mean, it's not the best integrity as a PSVR, but it's enough for me to be amazed at and know that I don't need like a super £1,500 computer and with the £800 headset to run it all. This does it all in one go. So like I say, it takes some getting set up. It doesn't really, but I've got to set it up if I want to play VR stuff. So I've played a good few games. So I played the Rick and Morty VR game as well. I didn't complete that because it's kind of crazy, but I did have a good go in it and unlocked.
What do they do in that one? It sounds like it's just loads of dirty jokes.
Well, it's all written by the guys who make Rick and Morty, and it's I think it's made by the Job Simulator people or someone to that nature. But yeah, you are a clone Morty, and you're given tasks by Rick to do. And he's like, go over here, do my laundry, go over here and do this and do that, the other. And he just disappears for a while, so just leaves you in the garage with all his stuff. And you're just like, oh, hello. And then you got a Mr. Meeseeks box over there. So you throw the Mr. Meeseeks out, and he's got a VR headset on. He's like a mirror image of you. And you can just pull the headset off of him, and he just kind of explodes and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool game. It's good just to listen to it as well, because they just ramble on for ages. They just talk and just talk. You know what I mean? It's not like it's just like canned dialogue sort of. Sorry?
They spent time on it then.
Oh yeah, I feel like so. I feel like they have. Yeah, definitely. The other game that I played in VR, which I already played before in non-VR, is Star Trek Bridge Crew. Have I mentioned that before? I feel like I mentioned that.
I think you have, because I don't really get this. I've seen it a few times now, and it's like, are you just kind of calling the shots on a bridge of the Enterprise?
Well, yeah. But if I were the captain, yes, I would be sat in my chair with the little panel up on and saying, because you go into it playing with three other people. It's a multiplayer game, but you go in there with three other people, and so you'll have one who's like steering the ship, one who's on the engines, and one who's on like power based. One, I think, engines is power, and then there's one for like scanning and weapons or something like that. And then there's a captain, obviously. So your captain has like all the details of like what the mission is, and then makes a decision on what things, because he has like a virtual clipboard essentially, and you press what you want to do, sort of thing, like, and it comes up on your screen in front of you, on the big like window in front of you, like, go to that planet over there. I want to go to that one. So then you guy on the steering, then got to steer it round and put it into hyperspeed or whatever it is.
If you're not the captain, though, surely you're just doing someone else's work.
No, you're doing your own job. You've all got your own job.
Yes, I mean that you're doing a job instead of being the captain and having fun.
Well, yeah, but the captain's probably not is the least fun bit, because you're the one that's got to like lead all these numpties. So if you've got you know what I mean. It's not as straightforward as like it is the easiest job, I would say, because you are just sitting there going, go there, I'm pressing this button, go there, making the decisions sort of thing. Whereas everyone else has got a fairly complex like dashboard type thing that they've got to fathom out how to work and control and do whatever they're being asked to do. So I've only done like the tutorial stuff for it all because I wanted to get it all out of the way so I can play it when my friends are online, because I know I've got two other chaps who I know who have VR headsets and play this game. So they said next time we're on, we'll do it and we'll get it all set up and we'll actually do some proper missions in it. So, like I say, it is very much the same as non-VR, because they made it out to be non-VR eventually because they want to expand the player base. And you can totally play it in non-VR with the people who are in VR as well. You just don't have the motion of, motions, like free motions to move around with the move controls or what have you. You just have like your hands that you just kind of just push left and right on the analog stick and you just point at certain things and do whatever with them.
Do you get attacked by like Klingons and whatever?
Yeah, Klingons, and they've just what's the next? Is it next gen? They've just put out a next gen update for it, so you get all the next gen missions. So I think there's like Borg and stuff like that. I don't know for certain. I'm just saying stuff I don't really know.
No, that's right.
I'm not a Star Trek fan. Particularly, I'm not a Star Trek.
They never do Star Trek games justice. It's something that's always frustrated me because that and Stargate could have had some great games. I always feel like the Starship Troopers game, the one where you click and move people along. If they'd made a Stargate version of that, it would have been amazing. And then if they'd had that kind of point and click and battling type one for Star Trek, it would be great as well, because they have so many ships you could have built. But they never really did a proper one that was just good enough. It was always kind of half-baked ones, in my knowledge anyway. I might have missed one over the years, but
I don't know.
I feel like I wouldn't be that entertained by this Bridge Simulator one. It just feels
it's a good experience, and it's a different experience in the sense of you're not just looking around the world to go, you've got a proper job to do and people rely on you in this game. You know what I mean? If you're on engines, if you're on steering or something like that, you are people rely on you for them to enjoy this game. You've got to be engaged in it. You can't just be prattling around going, hey, look at me, waving around and what have you. You can do that, but you've also got to be prepared to do your job. So that's it for VR stuff. One last thing I will say I've been playing is the Jurassic World Evolution game.
Is that the app? Or
no, it's the game that's from the people who made Planet Coaster, where you are managing a Jurassic Park.
Oh, right, nice.
You build your park and you manage it. Oh, that game is good. That game is very good. It's cool. It's cool. I've only recently, because you have to play through a certain number of islands before you get to Isla Nublar, which is the main island, which is unlocked sandbox mode, where you can just unlimited cash, unlimited whatever, do what you want in it. But you have to do like a certain number of objectives to get to that. So I've only just unlocked that. But damn, that game is good. It's actually got Jeff Goldblum in it. Voices over. There's like voiceovers every now and again. Just pops his head in and just says, "Hello, look what you're doing," sort of thing. So it is from the Planet Coaster people. Cool. So it's akin to that. It's like that.
I feel like Zoo Tycoon did that though, didn't they? They had a
yes, they did have a dinosaur expansion for that. Yeah, but this is like, so you have like initially you have only like, I think you start with like just a pen, just one big pen, and then you have like a fossil center, a research team, and
I've got to say, it sounds like an updated version of the app that they used to have, where you had a research. You basically build your pens. This was more geared around, microtransactions or waiting 4 hours while it built one. Whereas I guess this just builds them as you play, and you've got to try and manage the.
Well, yeah, this is it. There, you've got you get like
salting the chips so that they buy more drinks and stuff.
Well, sort of. You have like a number of things. So you start off with like your expedition team, your research team, your fossil team, and then your Hammond Creation Centre, which is attached to the pen. And that's where you create your dinosaurs. So you send your expedition team out to these dig sites. You send them off to go on dig sites to find DNA. They come back, you send it out to the fossil centre. They unlock the DNA in the fossils. And then you get enough of the DNA to where you can unlock a dinosaur. You can then create the dinosaur in the Hammond Creation Centre.
What kind of dig site is this that it has DNA for every dinosaur just in a pipe?
You literally opens a map of the world, and you've got to send them to these certain dig sites. It's not just one thing.
I thought they were just scratching around on the beach.
No.
It's a pterodactyl wing. Get into the lab.
Like I say, it's just a map. It just opens a map up, and you click on it, and you see a little helicopter take off from the little site, and it just off it goes.
Go to China, go to South America.
Pretty much, yeah.
They found a mammoth down the road from here a few years back.
Wow, well there you go. See, so I might send one down there. So you do that, and then you create the dinosaur, and then it just goes out about its business, and then you've got to.
What? It becomes an accountant?
No, it just eats stuff and potters about really, and then you've got park management stuff, because there's one part. Half the game is like managing a park, and then half the thing is like managing like dinosaurs and creation and research, because your research stuff goes into, there's like a research centre, so you can unlock like your general upgrades of like certain things, like stuff's faster to do, like more power, faster reloads on like certain things, and you know what I mean. And then there's like research, like DNA research, where you can, instead of having them spliced with toads, you can have them spliced with sharks. So then that would make them more aggressive, yes. But
Can it all go wrong and they escape?
Yes. So cool. that came to a head earlier in the week when I played it, where the pen clearly got too small for this set of dinosaurs, and they just broke out. They just smashed the fence in, because I hadn't put electric fence down. I just put regular fencing down, because they were herbivores.
Opposable thumbs, though.
No, they were herbivores. So I thought, what sort of damage are they going to do? They're going to be fine in here. The pen wasn't big enough. I'd just been cranking out these herbivore dinosaurs out, just going, yeah, and you go, ramming them into this tiny little thing, really. And one of them took dislike to it, so I'm getting out. So he smashed the fence in, and he's then on the run.
What's he going to do, though, really?
Well, he's not going to do a lot, really.
Cabbage.
He did run over a couple of people. He stomped a few people, but I have got an action unit team where they'll send out this helicopter, and they'll tranquilize them. So once
I'd be mortified if you got a phone call, or my wife I don't know why they phone you, and said you've been trampled by a dinosaur. She'd be like, "What, a T-Rex?" Nah, it was a leaf eating. One of those ones with a skull cap, just trampled him to death.
It pretty much was one of them that got out.
Outrageous death. You'd tell everyone, "Oh, my dad got killed by a velociraptor." Yeah, but the hero.
So you can do that. You can tranquilize them, and then you can have another helicopter come along and transport them somewhere. So luckily I had already set up a second herbivore massive enclosure, and I just transported him over to there, rebuilt the fence, because you also have like a field unit team. So you go over to the field unit team, and then the little buggies, and you click on them, and they go, add a task, and you just go over to the where the broken fence is and click on it, and it goes, right, okay, we'll fix it. That's a cool bit, but it also lets you drive. You be one of the field unit teams if you want to be. You can drive the buggies. You can pilot the helicopters if you want. You can tranquilize them yourself if you wanted to.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's really cool. So at one point I was like, well, I've got to go and refeed, fill the.
I've got a dark question to ask.
Okay, go on.
Roller Coaster Tycoon used to let you pick people up and drop them where you wanted. So if they were run out of money owning a park, you could just drop them in the lake and drown them.
Right. Okay.
Can you move people into the pen?
No. In theory, you could pick a dinosaur up. You could tranquilize a dinosaur, have it picked up and dropped it into like the open enclosure. And the
petting zoo. Like, pet a T-Rex.
So what? One of these big carnivores that are it's like a big T-Rex. It's not a T-Rex, but it's like a T-Rex. So these turn up. So I've got to refill the feeders, which are these in Jurassic Park, the big trap door opens and something comes out from underneath. So I think it's a goat or what have you. you have to refill these manually from time to time. So I was like, well, I'll go and do it myself then. So I got in the buggy. I said, right, drive the buggy.
Shoveling goats into a...
No, I just kind of drive it. You kind of drive over to it and click, and you get near it and you just click it to refill. But you have to go into this pen with this giant, like, T-Rex looking thing. And you just pull up to the gate and it just opens automatically, closes behind you. But it's not instant. So the panic I had was, I get in fine, I run up to the feeder, refill it, and I'm driving away, and I'm open, I'm like, this dinosaur's chasing me, I can hear it. He's like, open. So I get out, and I'm like, oh god, it's not going to shut in time. It did, luckily, but the panic on me was like, if this big dinosaur gets out, this is it for my park, shut it down.
I don't think they normally, in Jurassic Park, drive into the meat bit and hand them the goat.
No, they have like the big trapdoor things that they open up and something comes out from underneath. But some of them you have to do manually.
That's just bad planning. You need to splice them with something that can feed itself. Maybe you splice them with baby DNA when you should have given adult DNA.
I mean, maybe. The other thing you can do as well, there's also, so throughout the game you make money through getting more people into the park, obviously, and doing these quests to these people. So there's like a security guy, there's an entertainment guy, and there's like a scientist person. I think it's a woman. Yeah, there's a scientist and a woman. So they occasionally just put your quest on, like going, oh, the entertainment guy go, oh, get some good pictures for the website or what have you. So you get in the field team buggy, and out you go, and you go into the pens and just start taking pictures, like get pictures with 2 dinosaurs in it. So you go out and you go to like take pictures and stuff like that. And it's insane. There's some really cool like ideas, and there's like one of them was the security team one that I did last was let a dinosaur escape. And I was like, how's that logic? And he went, I want to see how
was the person saying it a dinosaur with glasses?
No, it was the top security guy who's giving me the security mission. He went, I want to see how the teams react. I was like, I'm the team. I'm the ones that are telling it. What are you on about? I was like, okay, let's do it. And unfortunately, I wasn't going to do it, but one broke out anyway. So I was like, result, this is the mission sorted anyway.
Yeah. So could you have picked though? Because like you'd have let the T-Rex out, and you'd be like, "Whoa, I meant a little."
Well, I wouldn't have let it. It didn't specify which dinosaur to let out. It just said let a dinosaur out. So it could have been any of them. He wanted to see my reaction. He wanted to see the reaction times of the team that would repair the thing and tranquilize the dinosaur and move it to somewhere safe. But I was thinking, that's me doing all them actions. It's not like as if I've got it programmed where I've got a team trained to do it automatically. It's me doing it all. It's me clicking on the dinosaur, me clicking on the fence to repair, me moving the dinosaur over here.
That sounds great.
It's cool. It's a really cool game. And like I say, I've only just unlocked sandbox mode where I can just pretty much just go, right, okay, put this down here, put this down there. And it's all about, like I said, I'm curious to see what the sandbox mode is like, because there's no real objectives, because the objectives in the other islands were like to get to 4 stars rating on your island. And to do that, you've got to have like shops, and you've got to have facilities, and you've got to have like good visibility on your attractions. So there's paddock, like sort of viewing rooms where you can just go up to the paddock and it shows like a cone of vision that you can see on it. And if if the dinosaurs aren't there, then people aren't going to go to it. So then you lose your rating because people aren't interested.
Yeah.
There's a lot of complexity to it. And there's a monorail. I think I got a monorail last time, and I put it all the way around the park, which just cycled around into all the enclosures. So people just loving it. People are like, well, I don't have to travel all the way across, because a lot of things are saying like, oh, we don't want to walk so far. You got to walk, because I've met these huge, massive enclosures. So people are walking for miles.
In real life, just having to sit on a train, look at T-Rexes out the window.
Yeah, exactly. So people are loving it. I'm really enjoying that game, and I'm like I say, it's
PC, isn't it?
Yeah, it's PC. Yeah, I know it's on everything.
Oh, Steam.
It's on everything. I think it's on Xbox as well, and PS4. I think. But I don't know how much you'd be able to control it the same way.
Yeah, I think Xbox would be quite annoying, but it probably wouldn't work on my.
No, maybe not.
So I was thinking, I remembered the Star Trek game I was thinking of when I was saying that they do have Starfleet Command,
Right.
I suddenly thought, I know the name of it. I used to have this, but that's the kind of game I want, but better. They need to do a polished version of that. All the other games are like walking around ones and they're a bit ugh, whereas that one seemed cool, but didn't live up to expectation. I suddenly thought, if I don't mention it, someone's going to go, actually, it exists. So I wanted to preempt them. We've talked about a lot of games.
We've had effectively 2 weeks off, haven't we? Because we did the E3 show where we didn't really talk about games we played, and we've had a week off, so we're like effectively nearly 3 weeks away from our last show where a proper show sort of thing. So we've had a lot of stuff to talk about. We're moving on to some other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if we mentioned when Jessica Jones season 2 came out about. I don't remember how recent that was, but I've started watching that. And at first, I was like, oh, God, this is nowhere near as good as it used to be. But actually, I don't know if I was just in a bad mood or whether the first few episodes are a bit dull, but it's got really good. And now I'm looking forward to finishing it and going on to Luke Cage season 2 that's now out as well. Yeah, that's out.
Oh, wow. I didn't mind Luke Cage. In fact, Luke Cage was... I actually watched Luke Cage. And I watched all of Jessica Jones season 2. And when it came out, second season of Jessica Jones, I was like, yes, dead excited. I watched the first episode and then just stopped watching it.
Well, I like her because she was like this brute who could fight, but she's got no plan against the guy who can control people's minds. And I thought, well, now that's not the focus. What's the problem? She's going to beat everyone up. But then even this time, everyone's treating her like dirt because she's brutally strong and isn't afraid to kill someone if they really are a threat. And it's like, so that she is getting the comeuppance, whereas Luke Cage is harder for me to swallow because it's like, it's just a guy who is he can't be hurt unless someone happens to have the magic bullets that hurt him. And it looks like from the advert, he's strutting around town doing videos showing off about how rock hard he is. And then this bloke just walks up and decks him. And now he's like, oh my God, there's a man out there who could beat me. What am I going to do? And it's like, Okay, so that sounds cool, but equally it sounds like, oh, okay, so Luke Cage is invulnerable to everything except magic bullets and people who can beat him up. So it makes him too normal. Do you know what I mean? It might as well reduce down to the fact he's just a normal person then, because I always moan about how Daredevil can't see, but he can see with his ears, and it always seems like he might as well just be able to see with his eyes then, because his hearing's perfect. It just seems pointless to have the power if he can get around it so easily, or someone else can get around it so easily, because literally any battle with anyone else other than this person is redundant for the whole season. So I'm hoping the writing still lives up to it. It does look cool. Jessica Jones definitely did live up to it for the most part. I've not finished it yet. There's lots going on there. What's frustrating me most, I think, is I started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Right,
I didn't like the first 1 or 2 episodes. I thought it was a little bit odd, but then I got hooked on it, and now I love it. And I've just started season 2. I'm a couple of episodes in, and the problem I've got is I want to watch that, and my wife wasn't watching it at first, but I've got her into it, and so I was watching on my own. I watched loads of them. Then I got her into it, so now I have to watch it at the pace where we both watch telly, which is. It holds it back slightly, but then every time we go on Netflix, it brings up the advert for Luke Cage. That looks really, really good.
Yeah.
So then she wants to watch Jessica Jones, so it's stopping me watching Brooklyn. And it's like I'm finding ways. We have watched it pretty much every night, to be fair, but I think we'd be another season through if this Luke Cage advert didn't look so freaking good. So it's starting to cause me issues. But all 3 of those programs, well, the 2 I've watched are great and the other one looks good. But Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I love it. It's so goofy and fun. And I'm glad it didn't get cancelled in the end. That's the only reason I even knew about it. I'm glad it got cancelled and then brought back, because I wouldn't have bothered watching it if it weren't for the fact that everyone went nuts. I think it's laugh out loud funny. It's lovable. It's not like, so the most of the programs I normally talk about from Netflix are quite malicious and horrible, and Sunny in Philadelphia is always just mean. And I read the other day that's coming back in September, so I'm excited about that. But this is just nice. The people are a bit mean, but they're generally just funny, and not like Scrubs funny where it got a bit wacky and was funny at the time. Cringe. This has actually got something to it. So I'm glad it's binge worthy. There's 4 seasons of it, so
it's been on my list for a while, but I've just never got around to it. So now I might.
Have you watched any films or anything?
No, not particularly. I've pretty much since about a month, I stopped watching Westworld episode 6.
I've not seen any of that, and everyone told me it finished last week and was
it did
great.
finish. This week, just gone, and I was like, oh, I need to finish it now because people are going to start talking stuff, and I'm going to get spoiled on it. So I've started watching that again, and I don't know why I stopped it. I feel like it's a bit of a chore at times.
It is.
Because it's a program that you've got to be switched on and you've got to concentrate on it. You can't lose it because, I said it before, there's timeline stuff in this that you need to be paying attention. Else you lose it and you're like going, I don't know what's going on.
I think it's frustrating that, if you won't get answers until, I don't know how many episodes are in a season, but you won't
10.
get answers till episode 10 then.
Yeah.
But you won't understand the answers unless you watch 1 through 9. So you're basically getting more and more clueless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
mean, to be fair, when I went back and watched the first season before season 2 came out, I was like, oh, the clues are here. Everything's here. It's there in the open, but you just don't get it until the drop at the end of the season.
And I can never tell whether people are lying when they say they saw it or they figured it out.
Yeah,
you're like,
I'm thinking, I must be an idiot then because I didn't see it at all.
Yeah, I don't know whether because I'm at a point now where I actually don't even try. Like, I'll just take what's happening on the screen.
Just tap it, just enjoy it for what it is. Yeah.
If I do figure it out, I see that's a sign of bad writing because I feel like I need to feel like I'm clever enough that I perhaps understand what's going on enough, but if it doesn't trick me, I'm like, that's not good. That's why I like Sherlock, because I never really see them come in, ever. Yeah,
they aren't good, them, to be fair. You're right. So other than that...
Dishwasher in the background keeps making weird noises. I don't know but
what else have I watched? Is it not? Okay, that's fine. Glow is back as of recording today, season 2. Did you watch Glow season 1?
I didn't. I saw the advert for season 2 earlier, and I didn't about. I'm sure you've probably spoken about it before. It rings a bell.
It was out, yeah.
The female wrestling team, aren't
they? Yeah. It's really, really good, Sheepdog. You might want to watch this one. You might want to put it on your list at least.
Yeah. How many episodes a season?
Similar to like 10, maybe not even that.
Okay, I can handle that.
Yeah, I don't think it's many. I think it's like a Stranger Things type thing, so it could be like 7 or 8.
Do that after Luke
so
Cage.
Good. Sorry? Yeah, add it onto your list because it's really good. And it's back now, and I've watched the first episode, and it was like, yep, okay, straight into it, yep, it's really good. And it's all on there now, innit? So you can just watch it all immediately, and I'll probably finish it by next week, knowing me. That's about it, really, for video stuff.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've got anything else either other than the football that's been monopolised.
Oh, well, obviously, we've had the football as well that's been going.
Review the football.
No, not really. No.
I realised that I was a little bit behind on a few of the main comics that we often talk about.
Right.
And I don't want to go like nuts on spoilers or anything like that, but I caught up on Saga, and the most recent Saga, the last like few pages, I was like, yeah, that's. I'm a little bit like, damn, okay. So, yeah, it's. I can't, because it's such a long story, obviously, by the name, presumably. Like, I'd be gutted if that ended in like 10 comics time, because you're expecting to be reading it for the next 20, 30 years, and, I expect it to just continue forever, but I was just like, what's going to happen next on this? I was just like, where is this going? So, yeah, it was very, very, very good. And I then had to read Giant Days to kind of watch something a bit lighter. I was just, and that's just entertaining as always. That's in a similar way. I'm like, what are they actually going to do? They're talking about that. There's been a lot of references to the fact that they need to get jobs when they leave uni, and it feels like it's recognizing that they can't really go on much longer. Did we establish whether it was the second or third year they were going into? Because I'm sure it's their third.
I think it's the third year they're going into.
Yeah. And that is a heavy kind of. There can't be that much longer left of their uni time. I think the most recent one I read, they were at a jobs fair trying to figure out what they were actually going to do when they leave. And I'm wondering whether they'll continue on or whether they'll find a way to cop out a bit and have maybe one person go and the other two stay or something like that. But it's interesting. It feels like some characters are sticking around and stuff like that. So it's gearing up for all that bit, but it's still was funny in it. I suppose you don't really read that for the behind plot, the kind of premise. It's more the banter and the nonsense, isn't it? So, but that was very lighthearted and fun. I'm behind on so much at the moment. I think I was saving some up for my holiday and then I've just not touched anything.
Yeah. So, let's have a look what I've read since we last spoke about comic books. I finished Monstrous, Volume 1. And I wasn't overly impressed with it. I just couldn't follow it. I found it really hard to read and I couldn't follow what was going on. Until like the last issue of it, where it just suddenly all clicked in.
Oh, I hate that. It's just like...
And it's like, there are, at the end of each issue, there's like a page which is like the teachings of the world. There's like a professor that teaches you the world sort of thing. And like from the 5th issue, that going into the 6th issue, it kind of put like all the penny drops with it all. It explains it all. I'm like, why didn't you do this before? You should have put this at the start of the book to explain more about the world and what's going on. Because up until that point, I wasn't following who was who, what race each one of them was, and what the whole thing is with this girl who's got this monster inside her, sort of thing. I wasn't following it all, and it redeemed it for me. I won't necessarily go rushing out to get the next volume, but it didn't.
Would you maybe reread to see whether you missed anything, or would that not?
No, I can't be bothered. I've got enough to read as it is. I might do. I probably would do if I got volume 2 and I didn't know where to go. I probably would go back and just, skim read it sort of thing and get the gist of what's going on. So I wouldn't necessarily say don't touch this sort of thing because it's a huge thing. There's loads of volumes of this now, and it's quite a massive, popular franchise type thing from what I can see.
It's one that I've seen outside of comic-y stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not something that is only exclusive to one of you mentioning it or seeing it at Comic-Con. I was wondering whether, when you reminded me, is there anything that's been made of it?
What, not into like
spin-off? No, I don't think it's been.
Oh no, there's nothing come of it that I know of as of yet. But I mean, to be fair, it could be, but nothing that I know of. But I don't follow it enough. Like I say, it's been out for a little while, and I only got it because it got nominated for an Eisner Award. Yeah, and I tend to just put all the Eisner Award list on my phone, and then next time I go to the comic book shop, I'll just pick up, chip away at them because I know.
I'm wondering whether I got it in a Humble Bundle a while back, and that's why I feel like it's familiar.
Maybe. I think it was an image.
Done a few comic books.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say don't buy this, but I don't know if it's just the frame of mind I was in that week when I was reading it. It's just a real struggle to read. I don't know, because sometimes books just fly through them instantly and they're amazing. And sometimes like this one, they're just a real slog to get through. And I don't know if it's just the way I am feeling with it at the time, or whether it's just the book itself is just a bit of a slog. Book that I did read relatively quickly. Another one, Jupiter Jet. You won't know of this one, will you?
Say that again.
Jupiter Jet.
I thought you said the suffragettes. I
no,
think it was just a little noise, a little sort of trip. Jupiter.
No, I don't think you'll have heard of it because I backed it on Kickstarter. So it's like an indie book that's like, I think it's got like a small publisher making it. And I backed it on Kickstarter. It's by Jason Inman and his wife who wrote it and what have you. And I think he used to do that DC All Access show, whatever it was. I don't know if you've seen it before. It used to be like on Twitter and stuff like that. Like DC account used to put like a.
I think so.
I think he's
Looks like
recently left.
Squirrel Girl, Jupiter Jet.
Sorry?
She looks
Yeah, a little
like
bit, yeah.
Girl.
A little bit, yeah. So the premise is this girl who has it's like a garage, like an auto repair shop.
Looking around, mate, she's the spitting image of Squirrel Girl in
A little
every
bit, yeah.
format they've drawn her in. Sorry, is she quite comedic like that? Is that what they're going for?
No, not particularly comedic. No, it's not like cracking jokes or what have you. So it's set in like, what era is it? To me, it comes across like maybe like 50s, 60s, maybe. I might be completely wrong with that. It's just the visualization. I think it feels like 50s and 60s. It might be completely wrong. It might be modern day for all I know. But it comes across very old fashioned
stuff. So it looks like it's
Yeah. So the premise is that she is Jupiter Jet, who is this girl who is sort of like a crime fighter who has a jetpack. But she initially starts off as someone who's just stealing stuff for money, a bit like Catwoman sort of thing. It just needs money to pay off like the debts of her family sort of thing. So she's just there to pay off the debts of her family, and then comes across this like material. It's like a energy material, and the jetpack itself is powered by this weird energy sort of thing that her father found, because her father made this jetpack, but he's no longer around. And he uses this weird energy stuff to power this jet, and then there's this other energy stuff that's turned up. And then there's this big bad fella whose energy it was, she's inadvertently stole it. He starts coming after him. And it's like that. It goes from there, really, where it's like...
Yeah, I've just had a quick look. It's not set in any year. It's set in a futuristic steampunk world, apparently.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me, because it doesn't seem like it's very, like, futuristic, like, world-looking. It looks very, like, nowish sort of thing. Like, it's not. It has a very oldie feel to it. So the back and forth is like this girl who's, like, trying to...
There's a lot of good raving about how it's, for all ages. It's
definitely. Definitely. It came across a bit. Squirrel Girl is for all ages, isn't it?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting her to be making jokes about squirrels and
no. I don't think it's like
being this unbeatable hero. It doesn't look like at all.
No.
The imagery they're building up is that she's it just looked very like her at first glance.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I picked this up in a comic book shop, I would have thought that's the image they were going for.
Yeah, it's very much. It's a very like kind of family friendly sort of book, and it's not like violent sort of. It's not like grotesque sort of like imagery or anything like that. It's just very much family friendly, and the story is of this girl and her brother who own this it's like an auto shop, and they are trying to pay the debts off of the father whose shop it was. And then get raveled into this sort of like this alien type creature who's trying to get this energy crystal back from them, who they've inadvertently stolen it, but accidentally trying to get money. And like I say, it's just a caper going around that, and it's a good book. It seems all right. Like I say, I backed it on Kickstarter ages ago, and it only came like a couple of weeks ago. So I read that, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. I mean, it's like I say, it's not like going to blow your socks off. It's just a nice, enjoyable book. After the week I had of Monstrous and the struggle I had with that, it wasn't heavy reading sort of thing, if you know what I mean by that.
Yeah, no, that sounds good for when you just, like you said before, when you're not in the times you're reading Monstrous and just feeling a bit, you could have,
Yeah. So, kind of going back to Monstrous. No, I'm not going to say that, because it hasn't been that bad. Milk Wars.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, we talked about this, didn't we? Just for a split second, I was like, I don't know about.
I've not finished it, but I have read 3 issues of it now this week.
Is it a joke?
No, it's insane. It's kind of bonkers. It's the DC Young Animal brand, which have done like the Doom Patrol and the Shade the Changing Girl and the Cave Castle and his cybernetic eye, and Who's the other one? I can't think of the other one now. There's all sorts of them. These like very like out there comic books.
I just don't get it.
What the overall premise?
Yeah, go on.
The overall premise. So the overall premise is retcon. Have you heard of retcon?
I don't think I can't picture who that is.
I haven't heard of it before, but I don't really follow DC that heavily. Retcon is this like big like conglomerate type evil organization, and they are kind of creating their own world. They are kind of retconning the world, sort of thing. So they have this like it's milk effectively. They have this milk, and it kind of brainwashes people, and they brainwash Batman and Wonder Woman and Superman into being these people, and they create their own. They like retcon the entire world to their how they want it to be. And so they make Superman a milkman who delivers this milk to these people, and if people defy it or reject it, he destroys them.
Interesting.
And Batman, Father Bruce, he's a father of the church, and he's Father Bruce who wears the cowl and what have you, and he's preaching out to these kids. He's rescuing these kids, and he is transforming them from. He has a machine that wipes the memory and gives them a happier memory and turns them into like little mini crime fighting heroes. And then there's Wonder Woman.
Crime fighting from the retcon's point of view.
Yeah. And then there is Wonder Woman who is Wonder Wife, I think, or something like that. And she is like
domestic goddess.
Yeah, yes, effectively. But in all of this, so it starts off. The first one is Superman, Milkman Man, as he's known in this book, and he's in this world, and like I say, I mentioned if he delivers the milk, and if people don't like it, he destroys them. And the Doom Patrol turn up. They get teleported into this world, and they're going, "What the hell's going on? This isn't right." And the Doom Patrol are kind of wacky out there. So I was like thinking, "Oh, it must be a Doom Patrol book." And it isn't. It's just a big come together book of like all the different DC Young Animal people into like the overall DC world. So the first issue is like the Doom Patrol dealing with Milkman Man and how they deal with this whole situation. And then they come across Cave Carson, who is Cybernetic Eye, who teleport them out to wherever they're going next. I don't know for certain because I've not read it all. But Cave Carson has a cybernetic eye. This is bonkers, I know, Sheepdog, what I'm saying to you. Cave Carson's this fellow who's from the future who has a cybernetic eye, and he sent his cybernetic eye to go and collect all these people up. So he's collected the Doom Patrol, and then go to the Batman issue, where he is Father Bruce, and it's who's the girl with the girl who wears the white suit? I can't remember her name.
What do you mean? What one of the Canaries?
Yeah. Or? No, there is a girl from DC Young Animal who's in Gotham.
Oh, right.
It's Mother Panic. That is the one. Mother Panic. That is the one. That's her issue. She's dealing with she operates in Gotham. So she deals with the Bruce Wayne and Batman issue with what I mentioned earlier, and then Cave Carson's eye turns up there and takes them away as well, because she obviously deals with Batman. She knocks him out of his like trance sort of thing, stops him from drinking the milk, and he becomes Batman again, sort of thing. And then the same situation with Wonder Woman, where Shade, the changing girl. You see, you're not going to know any of this because you've not read any of the DC Young Animals.
Yeah, I was just thinking the Young Animals aren't really. You're
not going to get any of it really, but it's fortunate for me that I have read most of the volume ones of these Young Animal ones, because I thought they were nifty, like weird out there indie books. So I'm glad that I've read that beforehand, because at least I have an idea of what to expect with each characters and what have you. Whereas if you'd read this, you'd have no idea what's going on. And like I say, I'm up to issue 3, so. Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and all this gang that have rescued them from this weird retcon world that they've been sort of living in, have been sucked off now to go do whatever they're doing.
Rephrase that.
Well, they literally get teleported into the eyeball, and the eyeball just sort of goes back in time wherever they're going. So I mean, it's weirdly, it's not as hard to read as Monstrous. It wasn't a struggle for me. The struggle for me was trying to remember who each character was and what the basis of each character was again, because we all know who Superman is, Batman is, and Wonder Woman is. That's all fine, but it's all the B cast sort of thing.
I like it to like a future list and maybe.
It's like, I think you need to read it up. I think you need to read up on it beforehand. I think you really do, because like I say, without that context, I would have been lost.
Because it's funny when you posted about it. I was like, I've seen this picture of Superman dressed as a milkman, flying down so many times, and I just assumed it was a bit like that Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow one, where it was quite old-fashioned and wrote about like what happened to Superman, he disappeared and all of this. And I thought it was going to be something like that it was a different world, or he'd achieved his goal. And I was reading it like, or that he was just doing it on the side. And I was trying to get my head around why he'd be trying to help out the community whilst his crime that low that he's become a milkman on the side, like to help people's bones.
It's bizarre because, like I say, it's this like milk that they're feeding the world, and no one's like, it's definitely an alternate universe where this is going on, and nobody's going to him and saying, hang on a minute, weren't you Superman, sort of thing.
Yeah.
He's just Milkman Man.
Well, where are Flash and all of that?
Well, they're probably in the world as well. I don't know yet for certain.
Right, okay. I mean, it could be in those. I mean, there's eras, isn't there, where Flash and
to be fair, at one point,
dead and
at one point the Justice League do turn up, but it's very much the B team of like
Green Arrow and
no, it's not even that. It's the biggest one is Black Canary. Lobo's in it. Lobo's in the Justice League. It's very much the B team of them.
I barely ever see Lobo in stuff, but because I was playing that DC Legends game, I really like him because I kept reading about his story.
Yeah, so he's in this book. There's obviously a watered down version. There's a milkified version of Lobo in this, and he's like the neighborhood watch guy.
Do you know? Speaking of the DC Legends app, just for a second there, I deleted it last night in a fit of why am I even using this game anymore? I still play Tapped Out.
Yes.
I nearly deleted that last night.
Wow.
And I did delete DC Legends, and I deleted the Rick and Morty game because I don't play the Rick and Morty one, but DC Legends, I was sat there trying to click through all my stuff and get all my stuff together and do this, that, and the other and battle this and do that. And I thought, what am I doing? It's like 11:30 at night. I need to go to bed. I just thought, I'm deleting this app because it's just stupid. I'm a grown man. Why do I care if, because I was trying to power up Kid Flash to make him as strong as all my other main team. And then I just thought, but once I powered him up, I'm just going to try and power up whoever they release next. And so I'm not going to learn about any more niche characters. Not that obviously Kid Flash is niche, but they brought out a load of the Banshee and stuff like that. I don't really remember being major characters. They've been adding them in, and I've been learning about going and looking at them. So it's always quite good for feeding my comic book interest. That's how I learned about Lobo, as I say. But I deleted it. I was just like, screw this game. I think I'm probably the last person in the UK playing it anyway. I don't think our listeners joined an MGP group that we'd set up, and there was like, I think at one point there was about 10 of us in this group, and then I looked recently and it was literally me. I just thought, everyone else has deleted the game.
Everyone else is off, yeah. Oh, well, there we go, Sheepdog. I think we're done.
We are.
Is there anything else for you to talk
quite
about?
Extensive. No, I think that's.
This is one of our longest shows, Sheepdog, and we've only been two of us.
Good stuff. Well, we now know where the lies. Kev won't listen, so I can get those things.
Yeah, we can get away with stuff because he's not listening to this far in. He might listen to the first couple of minutes, maybe at best, but he's not listening to an hour and a half in. No chance. No chance.
I can't really remember the words he says, or his route of saying it, but we have a website now that will probably divert to our Spreaker page once I've figured out how to do that. And I will have, hopefully, an email address, sheepdog@maturegamerpodcast.com. But if you're listening Saturday morning, that ain't going to be set up yet because I'm not doing it tonight.
Coming
so
soon.
Just assume within a week it'll be set up. I'll probably put a tweet out. So if you're on Twitter, I'll let the world know that it exists.
Yes.
You can follow us on Twitter at MGUK Podcast. I'm at RB6K.
I'm at Pab1986.
And you know that Kev's at the Lulu Show and Anna's at Miss Lulu Show.
Yes.
Because the football's on, Kev's channel is suffering the whole kind of there's no Football Manager stuff going on. And it was interesting the other night because he said, I'm not going to get 50 people on this stream. I don't know if you did see because you were in the chat, but I was going off on one on Twitter trying to drum it up. We got it to 80 people. We played, Train Station Simulator?
Train Station Simulator. And then I can say this now without him being here. He sold me on that game. I bought that game.
Yeah. I didn't buy it there and then, but I want it. I kind of thought I better not because I'm trying to save for the holiday and all of this, but it's something that I'll get eventually. He sold me on the game as well. But my point was going to be, and I don't mean to be too much of a kiss ass telling people to watch his stuff, but if you're not interested in Football Manager, check him out in this period because he's covering a lot of different stuff.
On his YouTube channel, he's just done a full playthrough of Detroit, and he's playing through God of War right now.
And Fallout, I think.
And so he's started Fallout again, hasn't he? Yeah. Yes, that's right.
So he's definitely diversifying, and it has been entertaining. I watched banter in comments. The chat group always has. We had basically a full Mature Gamer chat in there earlier in the week, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Subscribe to my channel as well. Sheepdog says, just twiddling along. We need to get you on there more often, Pab.
I can't be bothered.
I think I'd be.
I did this for the best part of a year, Sheepdog, on my own, making videos and stuff, and it's just too much hassle. It's too much hassle, I'm afraid. I can't play all these games like I do, Sheepdog, and do all this stuff.
Just have pork and beans says and just sit in front of a camera and chat.
I mean, that's fine. I don't have anything to say. I only have
stuff to say. Mate. Have you watched any? I've done 110 videos now.
You got a video on some sort of Facebook group, didn't you, or something like that recently?
That was really well. About 3 months ago, I posted a video on this group, ranting about this issue, and then yesterday I went on the group just reading about the issue, and somebody was like, "If you live in a house that's by this, you need to watch this YouTube video. It covers our plight," and like ranting at people that they should get, pull their finger out and watch this video. And I looked at the video, and it's just my little face just gurning. It looks like I'm trying to push out a constipated. But I can finish that sentence then. But I was like, of all the pictures, that was like my thumbnail game is getting better. But in that one, I just picked a picture of me shaking my fist, basically. And I looked so like weird, but I was chuffed to see it. That video is my most watched. I say that it's only got like 500 views, so it's still not.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, but I see some people who started at the same time as me are starting to eke ahead of me now. There was a point where I was ahead of them and I was thinking, it's all right. We're all in it together. Now they're ahead of me. I'm like, damn you, we're not in it together at all. I hate you. But no, I'm pleased watching it. It is growing. I wanted to get to 1,000 by like a month ago and I'm only at 220. So I'm just like, damn it. So now I'm like, I need to get to 250 by my holiday. That'll be a good aim. I was far too ambitious. So we'll see. But anyway, let's wrap it up. Thanks very much for listening. We'll see you next week. Kev and Anna should be back. I said Kev and Pab should be back then. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed our takeover episode.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Cheers.